Points that are good for any flight.
Any hotel.
Anytime. Guaranteed.
The Chase Sapphire card. Apply today.
A teenage suspect makes a very unusual request, asking a judge to let him be tried as an adult. Here's the perp walk. 17-year-old Luis Manuel Roman says he wants more respect and better visitation rights in an adult prison, even if it means the risk of a whole lot longer sentence. We're talking decades. The judge granted his request. Was that the right thing to do? Our legal panel is here now to weigh in. David Wohl is a defense attorney. David Schwartz, a former prosecutor. We got two Davids, so I'm going to have to use your full names here. David Wohl, let me start with you. The judge in this case, I have no idea, but she was actually entertaining and encouraging juvenile detention for this kid, who I think most people would describe as a real punk if he's guilty of these crimes, used a machete to slash his victim and rob him. What was the judge thinking, David Wohl?
Well, these judges in juvenile court, you know, the whole idea in juvenile court is rehabilitation over punishment, and that's what she's thinking. But the bottom line is these violent teenage gangbangers are far more sophisticated than the criminals that were contemplated when these juvenile laws were drawn up, Greg. And beyond that, he'll have the opportunity for a jury trial in adult court. He'll have an opportunity to bail out if he can. He will also be much more comfortable with his homeboys in the adult jail than he will in juvenile hall. And that's just the reality of these modern late-teen gangbangers. Boy, when I started in juvenile court 20-odd years ago, it was nothing like this. It was car thieves. It was minor drug offenders. It's a whole new world with these type of gangbangers, Greg. And this judge, if he was 12 or 13, I'd agree with her. But at 17, I don't think so.
All right, now, David Schwartz, the probation department calls this guy, Roman, a threat to society. He has a criminal record, and it was a heinous crime, assuming he committed and is convicted of it. Yet the judge, and I'm going to quote her, her name is Kelly L. Banash, said this: I believe it is in the community's interest to keep you in juvenile court. In juvenile court, rehabilitation and treatment are really important. In adult court, we're more concerned about punishment. First of all, it never worked for him in juvie before. Doesn't the judge have it all wrong?
No, I mean, first of all, Greg, you could throw that probation report out the window. I've never seen a probation report on an alleged violent crime where they don't say he's a threat to society.
A machete?
That's first thing. Greg, I understand the allegations, but the bottom line is the state of Pennsylvania has the best juvenile justice system in the country. And I still believe that a 17-year-old is still a teenager and has the opportunity to rehabilitate themselves. No matter how heinous the crime is, there are plenty of examples where teenagers, troubled youth, being taken advantage of by gangs and adults in those gangs, drafting these kids into gangs and then taking advantage of them. They need a chance to rehabilitate.
David Wohl, he already spent 8 months in juvenile detention in so-called rehabilitation. Guess what? Didn't work for him.
Okay, well, 8 months may not have been good enough
for him. He admits it didn't work for him, and he wants out of there. And, you know, the reality is these guys are just far beyond sophisticated for these type of juvenile detention issues. And, Greg, here's the other thing. What do they consider? They consider prior juvenile record in juvenile court. They consider the sophistication and violence of the current crime, and they consider, does he have enough time left in the juvenile justice system, which in this case is until he's 21, to be rehabilitated. And when you're talking about slashing a rival gang member, and he's a member of this Latin Kings, which is a very violent gang, with a machete, I got to tell you, Greg, in 4 years he'll be in some sort of a juvenile lightweight detention facility, and it's just not going to work, and the judge was way out of line.
Greg, the statistics show that these kids could be rehabilitated. We have to give people an opportunity to get themselves rehabilitated, especially in the state of Pennsylvania.
The public, David?
Does he have to kill somebody before rehabilitation? Is that your David Schwartz?
But when we educate and we rehabilitate, Greg, that's what we do. We protect the public long term. David's opinion is that we should just send them off to jail. That doesn't protect the public long term. These solutions do. And also, he's in adult court right now.
You know what? I make a prediction, guys. He's going to get. I'll make a prediction that if he gets convicted and gets like 20 years instead of 3 or 4 years in juvie, he's going to get a lawyer who's going to appeal saying, oh, he didn't understand the consequences of his actions. So,
Well, did he? Did he
will,
understand it?
Greg.
of course he
Yeah,
understood.
you know
Well,
what?
did he-
I don't think there's any indication at all that he has any failure to understand anything or any mental illness. This kid knows what he's doing. He's sophisticated. He wants to be in adult court with his
David
buddies.
Wohl, David Schwartz, got to leave
This-
it there, guys.
this
Good
kid
to
should be
see you.
examined.
Thanks very
Thanks.
much.
Thanks.
Well,
That's right.
prescription painkiller use hitting an all-time high in the U.S. What's driving this trend and the effects that it could be having on our nation's health? Straight ahead.
I was diagnosed with COPD. I could not take a deep breath. I noticed I was having trouble climbing the stairs, working in the garden, painting. My doctor suggested Spiriva right then.
Spiriva is the only once-daily inhaled maintenance treatment for COPD, which includes chronic bronchitis and emphysema.
I love what it does. It opens up the airways.
Spiriva does not replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms. Stop taking Spiriva and call your doctor right away if your breathing suddenly worsens, your throat or tongue swells, you get hives, have vision changes or eye pain, or have problems passing urine. Tell your doctor if you have glaucoma, problems passing urine, or an enlarged prostate, as these may worsen with Spiriva. Also discuss the medicines you take, even eye drops. Side effects include dry mouth, constipation, and trouble passing urine.
It makes me breathe easier. I can't do everything I used to do, but there's a lot I can do that I was struggling with.
Ask your doctor if once-daily Spiriva is right for you.
We hear Verizon's 4G LTE is fast. Let's find out how much we can download before this rocket takes out this 4G hotspot. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, ready.
Let's go hot. Ready, set, download. Done? What'd you get? Download Solitaire.
I got Gulliver's Travel.
I got a photo. Yeah.
It's America's fastest and